my work is made from traditional sculpture making and art making materials, and then there's a really small element of other more sort of everyday materials, like there's some makeup in there, like eyeshadow, toothpaste. Often that's what people see, as though they think maybe that's the majority of the work or that defines it. There's not much difference to me. The powder itself, it's plaster, but it's called finishing plaster. In different parts of the country, it's a different colour. Then the other materials that are in that piece of work are bath bombs. It's made from bicarbonate of soda and citric acid. I suppose I'm just really interested in them for their powderiness and their colour. I'm not using makeup or toiletries for their connotations, for any metaphorical or symbolic meaning. It's not their relation to language or narrative or autobiography that I'm interested in. It's the pure material substance and the colour, and it's a real sort of physical pull towards materiality. And so I would say that I hope like that in the end, in the work, by leaving those materials very visible and the sort of touch of the human hand with those materials very visible, that I would always hope for at least a sort of impetus towards physical response. If I was thinking about people coming to the work for the first time, I'd be thinking about them looking at the actual objects. That's all I can really deal with. Everything's in there, you know. There's nothing points outside of itself to language or to metaphor or to symbolism. What's important for me about the work is for it to try to embody real creativity, like that actual animal creative moment. I suppose I think a lot about what art really is, you know, and so for me that's not a kind of sealed off hermetic object. When you reduce it right down to the basic human behaviour behind it, is it's very, very much about the drives. It's a pretty sort of, at its base, it's pretty animal. And I suppose I want to get back to that, or to admit that, or be honest about that. I love the limitations of a discipline, which is why for all the skirting in between mediums that I say that the work does, I like to keep it within the confines of sculpture, because I like what limits do, but also, yeah, I'm incredibly frustrated by those limits, and I think that can be seen in the work. I've been making these works with polythene and chalk dust for quite a few years now. Part of it is about trying to just get colour to really sort of flow at eye level. Like a lot of what I do is about trying to find a way to sort of bring raw material and colour just up, like into the air to eye level. And obviously there is a way to do that. There's a traditional way to do that, and it's called a painting. That's what that's for. I'm trying to sort of free the colour and the form and the composition from the structure of the painting, bring it sort of out into the middle of the space and just have it hang there. I think in this exhibition, because it's a group exhibition, also because the space is so big and there's so many pieces of individual work in the exhibition, I think what that does to my work is just brings it much closer to the autonomous sculptural object. In reviews, or I hear sort of people say that the work is feminine. That's ridiculous to me. It totally comes from the outside. That's not me doing that, you know. But also it's very worrying to hear people say words like fragile, impermanent, ephemeral, and then label those things as female. That's like a massive insult. I've made pieces of work that are much bigger than these, that totally dominate a space, that are very, very heavy, because I'm using like 4 tons of plaster powder. Where is that coming from? It's totally not coming from me or what I'm doing. It's a complex and worrying cultural judgment from the outside. It's difficult work, right? You know, it's alive if it can, one, hold on to that sort of raw creative moment within itself, and two, be acquired by museums and galleries, then it's succeeded in its ambition. Because the whole point is to try to sort of challenge that homogenised, sort of sealed, this is a painting, this is a sculpture, we can pick it up and move it, it's a transferable thing, that's an artwork. So part of me trying to challenge that is that I have to really push that sort of raw creative moment, what I think that art really is.